Good morning. Welcome to Bars and Bells. This is the morning routine, and my name is Ian. I have a simple apparatus to my side. This could be an ottoman, a chair, or any other device that you choose. We'll warm up today with our body weight, check in with our breath, and stay strong by adding strength to your stretch. I'm going to start by sitting. Have a seat. Good morning. Stand up, sit down. But if you're sitting, how are we sitting? As we demonstrate this exercise, I'll be in an anterior tip or my tailbone reaching back. Now gently oversell that shape a little bit and get into the low back round. This is very hard to get out of, so let's pull. Imagine pulling these femurs into the hips that could tip your hips to the back. Hang out nice and tall. Maybe address that upper body now that we have that shape. And then lastly, I'll turn around and we'll start with the head neck. Maintain this nice tall sits position, and at the head neck, do our chin tuck in and low effort, up extension, down flexion. Repeat again, up extension and down flexion. And then at the head neck, do the text neck forward, face forward, then that retraction or the chin pull in. Repeat, push and pull. Let's repeat those same efforts in the upper back now. How are we sitting? Let's make sure that those hips or femurs are pulled in with the hips slightly tipped to the back. Flexion is rounding. Extension is lifting up. Again, check in that the shoulder blades here are connected or squeezed together as we manipulate that rib cage or upper back. Same effort then on the telescoping or extension forward, and then the rounding, but again, keep the shoulders in tight. Shoulders retract. I think I've said that at least once or twice as we extend or telescope away, and then flex and reset. Now, tip those hips back, press those feet out, extend the hips away, and just shake that out. We'll come back to that seated position in a second. Now, stand behind that apparatus. The low chair is best. Even a single stair height could be appropriate. Keep those quads parallel, shift your weight to one side, and bend at a knee. Then from here, pull the knee through, clear the box or apparatus with your foot, and just place a leg up top. In this position, just check in. We'll come back through here a couple different times today. Check in. That was a nice strict way to get into this position. To dismount, could we condition that the knee starts to bend by dragging the foot along the chair? Then extend the hip to have your quads parallel, and slowly you extend or straighten through the knee. Repeat the same thing on the other side. So with those quads parallel, it's a knee bend, then the hip flex, clear the foot, place on. Hang out, build some awareness in through here. As we dismount this movement here, it's that knee bend, hips back, quads parallel, straighten the knee, and then shake. Let's return to that seated position. Sit down. There we go. From here, at the head neck, let's do our little wave. Side profiles will be most helpful here. So, how are we sitting? Let's address that low back, pulling those femur heads in, tipping the tailbone back. Then I like hands in tight, on lap is fine too, and then chin tuck. From here, reach forward. We're on that wave or roller coaster now, reaching forward to up, crown head high. Repeat one more, so we're flexing the head neck, pushing then the face forward, looking towards the ceiling sky, and then pulling the crown back on tall. Let's reverse that shape. So first it's extension, looking up, and then forward, and then chin tuck in, and look up, and look forward. Chin tuck in, reset, your eyes on the horizon. Let's repeat that same effort through the rib cage. Side profiles are probably the best as well. How are we sitting? Tailbones tip back, grip the feet with the floor. Floor with the feet. Shoulders in retraction. Moderate chin tuck and flex through the upper back. Shoulders together. Then from here, extend or push the rib cage forward, doing a moderate back bend through those upper vertebrae there, And then condition that we pull or flex. I think of that candy cane or upside down J. And then that extension forward, the lift, the roll, and then just reset in the middle. And reversing, it's extension first, then the reach forward, then the extension one more time, lifting the heart up, flexing over like the candy cane, and then resetting level on the horizon. Now let's press away, let's stand up, have a little bit of a shake, and return to our Captain Morgan or hip flexor version from standing. Both legs parallel, grip the floor with the feet, bend one knee. Then take that leg, place it on the box, and check in. I'll do my quarter turn, stay in that pose. Nice and strict as we get into that again. Check. Then at these hips, could we hike a hip? The John Travolta style here on my left, and pulling down to level out. One or two more hip hike. When we pull down, keep this knee slightly in from that hip, probably more alarming on the inner adductors or groin here. Then from there, tuck the hip under, tip the hips back. One more time, tuck it under, tip them back, and then leave this one tipped and try to tuck the standing leg. Crazy, I know, working on those SI joints. Now from here, bend the knee, quads to parallel, extend through the leg, stay tall, little weight shift, and repeat on the other side. It's the knee bend with the quads parallel. The hip flexes through next, check. Stiffen, straighten that bottom leg, square up, casually hike the hip up here, then pull it back down. Straighten the knee and keep this knee slightly in. Repeat again, hip hikes, shoulders stay square, actions is very moderate, but in these hips. And last one, I'll hip hike. John Travolta, pulling it back down to level, always working on this level. Then tuck under, tip back. When we tip back, you might feel that hamstring load on the elevated leg. When you tuck under, you might feel that quad or the hip extension on this bottom leg here. Now keep this hip tucked under and tip the other one back. Crazy, I know. Then from here, easy does it. Bend the knee, kick a bum, quads parallel, straighten out, and then shake. Let's get to the floor here, doing our forward fold. Integrate that body roll wave that we worked on as we get to the floor. I'll move this out of the way for a second, although we'll come back there as well. So we'll do our chin tuck. You might look at the ceiling a little bit with the head neck, and then chin tuck, chin. Then what about those shoulders? What about those feet? Take your time, folding in half like there's a wall behind you. And again, that candy cane or J shape makes itself felt. Take a breath down here. Then hands to the floor, then on all fours. Quick wrist preps here as we go into today's practice on the ground. How do the wrists feel in extension? So we have those elbow pits screwed in. Pull hands to knees. Create some tension, then push forward and rock back. And feel a nice little pull and push on the floor. As we're doing this, that tailbone is long or tipped to the ceiling, avoiding the rounding shape of the spine, in this one at least. One or two more, try to pull on the floor and then push back, and then push so much that you flick the wrists and shake them out. One more time, hands, let's go fingertips first with the underhand grip this time. Fingertips, callus lines, then full hands. And breathe into that. Then press your index fingers in the ground, then relax, then press your middle fingers in the ground and relax. Then the rings, I think they're next, followed by the pinkies. Then don't forget about the thumbs, and then press all 10, create nice tension, then bend the elbows, flick the wrists. Right now, I'll untuck my toes. I'll go back to the hands and then tip my tailbone to the ceiling in my down dog. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then I'm going to be folding up here. So I get into that forward flex position. pulling the rib cage to those hips throughout. The head neck is the last one to come up. And we're back up to standing. Let's get back to those hip flexors from standing with that chair or step apparatus. Quads parallel, single leg bends, flexing through, place it on. Tuck both hips underneath. Keep the standing leg position in that posterior tuck, and then try to pull this leg into the hip socket to feel your adductor, hello, and to compress, find that compression strength in the hip, and then relax. Then with both hips, casually tailbone tip back. Be careful with that low back here. And now keep the elevated leg in the tailbone tip. And then with this one on the ground, try to tuck it under while straightening the knee. The knee might want to bend, but we're trying to tuck this hip under with the knee straight, pulling, pushing on the box. Can you feel that tension through the foot? And then relax the effort. Easy does it with the knee bend. Return the quads to parallel and straight. One last time here on the other side. It's a straight leg, quads parallel, knee bend. Pull, flexing the hip, placing the foot on the box. We did our hip hikes or our John Travoltas already, and now we're focusing on the tips of the tailbone. Tuck both hips. We have two of them. Tuck them under. Safely straighten that bottom leg. Keep the bottom leg tucked under at the hip and pull in on the other side. Pulling in, and maybe it is even in from the hip. Bring awareness to this adductor and then relax the pose. Now with both tailbones again, or both hips rather, tip the tailbone back. Now maintain that shape of the elevated leg, and with the other leg here, try tucking under on the hip. I hope our butt could feel energized here, creating tension as we push into the floor. Hold that pose and relax. For one last time, let's tuck under. Great. Stiffen that bottom leg. Maintain the tuck of the bottom leg and pull in on the elevated leg. Hiccups this morning. Okay, here we go. Hips and hiccups. Here we go. So I'm tucking under on the standing leg, and I'm trying to tip back, tipping back on that elevated leg. Pull on that hamstring. Then cool the jets. Easy does it on the dismount. Quads to parallel, and then straighten out. Doing that movement from standing can be quite challenging. So as we finish today's practice, let's get to the floor. Using our fold. The shoulders are back. Start with the head neck as you tuck a chin. Straighten the knees, grip the floor, continue to breathe, and fold like that candy cane or J. Then while we're down here, go hands next. Find the knees to the floor. In this 6-point stance, check in that wrist extension is okay. We could do this from a chair or elevated surface as well. From here, let's work the upper back first and then the low. Keep the shoulders in retraction, and like that yoga cat-cow, can we flex through the rib cage of the upper back. But keep the shoulder blades near touching as we keep pulling to the midline. Then easy does it as we can extend to that cow or extension pose. Keep the head and neck fairly neutral, perhaps meaning looking at the hands in between, and then retract or pull the shoulders together and flex through that upper back. Keep the shoulder blades squeezing. It'll limit the shape. It won't necessarily be big, but as my voice is quivering, I hope it's safely intense. Then extend through the spine. Returning to the low back, keep the spine in its upper back shape consistent and pull or tuck under the hips. When we were sitting earlier in today's practice, we were doing the same. To return to the cow pose, I think of pulling my femurs into my hips to create that nice compression. Then when I tuck or tailbone under, I'm pushing my femur out of the hip socket. Repeat 1 or 2 more as we tailbone tip to the ceiling, and without any other part of the spine moving, try to manipulate that low back. Return to our tailbone to sky shape. Push the hands forward. Modify this down dog with bent knees and reach that tailbone to the sky. Then straighten your knees, maybe pedal them, take a breath, and then press through. Take your time. Hinge, fold, stand up with purpose. Extend the hips and shake it out. I'd like to finish today's practice with just one of our favorite movement clocks. It lets us go everywhere while just using about this much space. Balance and strength. Let's do it. So pull, single leg up, point, toe ball heel, pull, push away, returning center. Continue that pulling action up towards the midline, then open, then point, toe ball heel, and press away, returning center. Pull in. This is a little bit of an oversell, but get the knee over, then open, then point, and land toe ball heel, and press, and in. And keep pulling over till we open, and rotate now on that standing leg, then point, and then land, and press, and pull. Then last one, it's like the quads in the front, hip flexors we're doing in the front, quads stay parallel, toe ball heel, pull, push, push back, return, and last time other side to the front. Toe ball heel, pull on the ground and push. Pull in, open a little, point, land, push, pull in. Create tension in those legs, open to the side, touch, woo, watch your space here and press. This one's the fun one to the new corner. We go knee front, knee side. The turn now is on that standing leg, point, toe ball heel, push in, and then lastly to the back, pull and push, come to tall, shake it out. And that is a good way to start any day of the week, in particular maybe here on Sunday. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Ian with Bars and Bells, and this has been the morning routine. Simple mobility stretches and strength tips to help you do what you really want. So have a wonderful day, a great week, and we'll see you again. Take care, stay strong, train soon. Bye-bye.